Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Agric Niger 360 and Shimi Shei. I'm here to talk to you about essential equipment that you will need to purchase. I feel you'll need to purchase if you want to do farming in Nigeria by yourself. Like you want to have more of a DIY type of farming situation. I told you in the last video, which is our introductory video of this channel, that I'm planning on moving to my farm and living there off grid, being there every day, taking on animals and growing pasture and other crops on the land. And in such a situation, I want to have a minimal reliance on labor. I want to do as many things as I can do by myself. That's why you need good tools. When you are going to the farm, you need good tools. So in my opinion, these are some essential tools that you guys need to have if you want to be a farmer in the tropics. Not only in Nigeria, but in the tropics, the hot tropics, the hot parts of the world. So we're just gonna get right into it. I have a list of these items, and you can see them. Some of them are arrayed behind me. So the first on the list is the solar light. Solar light is actually on right now. It's working. This is the solar light, solar floodlight. Here it is. This is it. Here is the remote of the solar floodlight. This is the remote. I'm just gonna switch it off because it's. Let's switch it off now. See, it gets brighter. It's off. Okay, here it is. You can see this is the solar floodlight. This is a 30-watt model. IP69. This is, you can get something bigger than this. You charge it with the solar panel. You just charge it in the sun, the solar panel, and this can detach. You can see you can unplug it from the solar panel, or you can just fix it on a pole. And for an off-grid situation, I believe this is a must-have. I'm going to rate all these items I'm going to discuss with you on the basis of whether you must have them or they are just useful in some specialized cases for some specialized farmers. But I believe this item, the 30-watt light bulb, floodlight, or even a higher floodlight, is important. All these items, I'm going to leave links to their descriptions, links to where you can purchase them on Amazon. You can also get them on Nigerian online vendors, and there are people that sell them also in their shops, solar shops in Nigeria. The solar floodlight, there's also the solar street light, but I like the idea of the solar floodlight because in the bush you would not want to just illuminate your house, your dwelling, without illuminating the field. This directs light outward, so you can have yourself in the shadow while this directs light outward, so you can see your perimeter. I believe this is a very important tool, and is number 1 on our list here. Solar floodlight. I'm going to put it back on now so that it can illuminate the background. There we go. There we go. The number 2 item on the list of items I feel is a must-have, and these are the traditional items that we know. These are your machete, your hoe, and your axe. Maybe also a pickaxe, which is also called a digger. So here are mine. This is my hoe. This is a nice all metal hoe. Very useful. I've had this for a long time. I like this all metal. Otherwise, they'll have the metal blade and then a wooden handle. And this is my axe. You can see it's a bit rusty here. This is my axe. Still has the rubber, so it's a new axe. The axe is useful for felling trees and for splitting firewood and doing heavier jobs. Be careful when you are using an axe. Always be very careful. Never use the axe in a position where it can swing and hit your knee. I'll try and whip your safety equipment. These are machetes, different types of. This is like a heavy knife slash machete. This is a very interesting knife that I actually found on a field. It was when I was just digging up a field I found this, and it's very sturdy. This is going to be useful to me for when you can see how thick it is, right here from the back. So it's very sturdy. I believe this must have been used for maybe slicing cassava. Whoever dropped it in the field where I found it. It was buried in soil where I found it. But I will be using this for splitting bamboo and for other odd jobs on the farm. It's very useful, rugged machete / knife. This is our traditional machete too, flat ended. You can also get the one with the curved end, which is also useful for like harvesting fruits and other more delicate works. This is also a light machete I have, which I use for more delicate works. As you can see, they are all very sharp, and it's important to have good sharp machete, axe and hoe when you're on the farm. If you look behind me, can you see it? It's over there, that metal thing there. You can see I have a bigger axe there. That's my biggest axe. I'll show you this. Yep, this is my biggest axe. So yeah, tools are very important. So that's that for the axe, the machete, pickaxe, and your hoe. You need those if you're going to be on your farm working alone in the tropics. You need those definitely. Now the next important tool that you are going to have, if you have the capital of course, is the brush cutter. You can see it behind me. This is the brush cutter. This is the brush cutter here, and it is a very, very useful tool for anyone to have in the tropics for farming, especially if you're a livestock farmer. This brush cutter has a head that can be changed. So this is the brush cutter. You can see it. It has the handle, throttle, got the engine, 2-stroke engine. You mix the fuel. There's some fuel in it. You mix up the fuel. Now the heads are interchangeable. That's the beauty of the brush cutter. It's such a versatile machine because this head is interchangeable. Let me show you some of the blades that you can change the heads to. This is a blade. You can change the blade. It can be used for like cutting grass. It's like a saw type blade. This is another type of blade. This is one of, when I had my older brush cutter, is one of the blades of them. And one very important blade is the chainsaw blade, if I can find it. I'll be doing a more intense video about these tools, especially the brush cutter, earth auger. But there's a chainsaw blade that goes with this brush cutter that is very, very useful for cutting up wood, thick wood. So by changing the blades, you can turn it into a tiller. That is something that can, a rototiller that can till the earth. You can turn it into a weeder, something that can weed your crops and turn the earth to cover them. You can use this. This 3-blade is basically a mechanized machete. Cut up the thick bush and thick brush, and then the chainsaw blade, which is somewhere here, I can't find it exactly, is very useful for thick wood. I'll be using it for bamboo on the farm, and I'll show you that when we get to the farm. The next important tool that you can get, this depends on if you really need it, is this. This is called an earth auger. You can see that, earth auger. Used for drilling holes in the ground. Now these holes can be holes for maybe a post. You know, you want to do a post for your fencing with your wood. You have some wood, you want to do post for your fencing, or you want to maybe erect a nursery or a greenhouse. You want to do the foundational pillars, or maybe you want to dig holes for your plantain or other crops that you want to propagate by cuttings or stem cuttings or rooting seedlings. This is very, very useful for that, because from experience, when I was trying to set up my ranch, I had people do the fencing and the holes they dug were not deep enough, and you tell them that you guys didn't dig this hole deep enough, and they'll be like, the sand is ground, the ground is hard, and this and that, and you are paying for your labor, but you are not getting what you paid for. You pay a price per hole dug, but the holes they dig are barely up to this deep, barely up to a foot. Meanwhile, they're supposed to go this deep, maybe up to, you know. So that's why this machine might be important for you if you know you're going to need to have a lot of holes dug. But if you know you're not going to need that many holes, then you might do without this. But if you have the capital, you can get this machine. It might not be, depends on how much of a need you have for digging holes. The next item on the list is my file set. Now, all the sharp blades I have, my machetes, they won't be sharp forever. This brush cutter blade, it won't be sharp forever. So it's very important for you to buy a file set, a set of files, so that you can use these to sharpen. Getting rusty already. Sharpen your various blades as and when due. So a file set is very important tool you should consider getting, because it makes all your other tools work at the best performance rates that they can work at. You know, all these machetes, you get them all nice and sharp. But remember, you should always be careful, because the sharper the tools, the easier it is for it to hurt you if you're not careful. The next item on the list is my chisels. Chisels too are sort of like, well, they are useful for what I intend to use them for, my bamboo construction chisels. But they'll be useful for any other woodworking work. You'll be amazed how easy it is to form joints out of rough wood, joints of wood that can fit into each other using this tool. So a chisel set is also important to have, I feel, for a homesteading farmer, someone that's living on the farm in the tropics. The next item on the list is modified hose for irrigation. Let me show this to you. Here it is. This is a hose that is basically been modified into becoming a sprinkler. So when this is connected to water, to the pipe or tap, it sprinkles the water in a mist, in a umbrella mist pattern. This is very useful for dry season farming, which we're going to be getting into when we go to the farm. Yeah, a hose for your irrigation needs is very important when you're going to the farm, because you're going to have your nurseries and they're going to have dry spells when some of your crops are going to need some support with water. Assuming that you have water on your farm. And we're going to talk about water on the farm in another episode of this channel. So, yeah. Next on the list is our saws. I have my bow saw and my hack saw. Still part of the carpentry. Still part of the being on the farm And this bow saw, this is called a bow saw. As you can see, has some very sharp teeth here. I got this because I'm going to be into moringa, so cutting the moringa stems, this is going to be very useful for that. That's why I got this. But also the bamboo construction I'm going to be doing, this is also going to be very useful for that. This is a hacksaw, useful for cutting things like PVC plastic. PVC plastic is something that you can use for many things on the farm. Also, it's good for cutting bamboo if you don't want it to split. But I'm going to find out which of these two is better for bamboo soon enough, and you guys will be there to find out with me. So the next item on the list is the sprayer. We have a mechanized sprayer. You can see that behind me here. This is a mechanized sprayer. By mechanized, I mean you can charge it, it recharges, and when you charge it up, you can just spray without having to pump as you would normally pump with a sprayer. So that reduces stress for you as a solo farmer, DIY farmer working alone on the farm. It can spray for 8 loads full or even more. That is, you fill it up and you spray, fill it up and spray 8 times before the battery goes down. You can see the power button is there on the bottom there. When you press that button, it starts the humming boom, and when you press the sprayer handle, it starts spraying automatically. So it's very cool. I think it's a nice addition for any farmer going to the farm in the tropics working alone, because you're trying to reduce the stress on your. Next item on my list is the blue thing you see, the blue metallic thing you see behind me, and that is my planter, my seed planter. This is a seed planter device that helps you plant seeds without having to bend over. Assuming this is the soil, you press it down and then it opens up, drops a little bit of seed. You can see the sharp mouth, and when you take it off, it closes up and you pull it out of the soil, and then you just step on it, so your seed gets in the ground and covered up. With this type of tool, you can cover more ground planting. You put like a funnel up here, so that the seeds can easily drop in, and it works. It makes it easier. Also, there are other designs of mechanized planters. There's a rolling seed planter. I used to have one of those. I had one of those, but this is what I have now. That other one got damaged, got destroyed, unfortunately. So yeah, it's good to have a mechanized seed planter if you are working solo on the farm, because the other option is to either use a stick or use a machete. Machete is the worst because you have to be bending down, make a little scoop in the soil, put the seed inside, and cover it up and move to the next one. That bending down over multiplied several times is not good on your back. So this prevents you from having to bend down. You're just like, seed in here, whoop, and it goes, So that is that with the seed planter. The next item on the list that you must have when you're going to the farm is good work boots. Work boots that are steel-toed boots and steel sole. That is a sole that cannot be punctured that has like a metal plate in there. The reason for this is that when you are digging up in the soil, you never know what is in there. You could just step on a bottle. I've had that happen to me before. Stepped on a bottle, pierced my foot. I was wearing Crocs. I was wearing Crocs that day. Went right through the Crocs and into my foot. Nasty wound. Had to get to the hospital and get it cleaned up. but that's because I was in town then. But what if you're not in town? You're in the wild, you're in the forest, you're in your distant farmland, living there. You need to be careful to avoid such injuries. So it's important that you have the work boots. This is also another pair of work boots. These might get hot. You know, we're talking about being in the tropics, so this might be more ideal for the cooler weather. You could also get, this is leather. It's probably more ideal if you could get one that is rubber. But this is also steel toe and steel sole. Very important. These are some more blades of the brush cutter, as I was talking about. This is the chainsaw blade I mentioned earlier, that I was looking for earlier. This chainsaw blade is very powerful tool in conjunction with the brush cutter behind me there. Very powerful tool when used with this brush cutter for felling thick trees on your land. This is basically converting your brush cutter into a chainsaw, a real life chainsaw. So very cool. This is the tree tooth blade, same as the one that is attached to it now. It's basically a machete. Now the last items that you will need a good hat, a good sun hat, to prevent the stress of the sun, because the sun can get very hot in Nigeria, in the tropics, most especially in Nigeria, because of the hot zones, but it gets even hotter in some other places. You need a good hat. This is a good hat too, but I think this covers from the sun even more. You can see. So you need to have a good hat so that at least your brain, your head will be cooler when you're out there in the sun. Is there any more things? Yes, my shears, the shears and the secateurs. I have my secateurs here and my shears. These are my shears. I use them for cutting stems. This depends on if you're more into fruit farming, tree crops. This type of thing will be important for you. Planting bags. Planting bags important as well for nursery people that are into nursery crops that require nurseries. And the secateurs. These are the secateurs. Also important for people that are into things that require transplanting fruit crops people. So with these tools, I believe I have a very good foundation for my proposed adventure, my proposed relocation to the farm. They will all serve me in various capacities, especially as regards the clump of bamboo that we're planning to harvest, which is on the land. The brush cutter with the chainsaw blade is going to be used for that, and the machete blades of the brush cutter will be used for clearing the rest of the land. The brush cutter is one tool that I would recommend everybody get. The sprayer too is something that everybody should have. The earth auger, like I explained before, you might not need that. You could easily get some, maybe borrow it if you want to holes. But if you know you're going to be digging a whole lot of holes, maybe you want to dig a whole lot of holes for your ranch fencing, or you want to dig a whole lot of holes for your plantain plantation or cocoa plantation or whatever, teak transplanting, then you could get the earth auger. The file set for sharpening blades is a must for everyone, for every farmer out there. The chisel set, maybe not a must for everyone. I plan to do a lot of wood construction, that's why I got the chisel set. The modified hose sprinkler thing, I believe, is a must for every farmer. At least if you are growing vegetable crops, you need a sprinkler system to water your crops and everything like that. The seed planter too, I feel, is a must for every farmer. So I believe that this video, I hope this video has been helpful to you guys. We will soon be on the farm, but right now we're still in prep mode, as you can see. So this is all part of the prepping with all this equipment. We're going to drag all this stuff and get to the farm and get them to work, and hopefully we're going to have great results from that. So this has been another video from me, Shay, to you out there. Agric Niger 360. Please do well to subscribe, ring my bell, ring the bell, press the bell notification button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.